Good morning, America. Breaking overnight, more protests in Charlotte.
No justice, no peace, no racist police.
The family of the man killed by police speaking out about new video they've seen of the shooting as hundreds of demonstrators defy a new curfew. And in an ABC News exclusive, President Obama on the anger and violence in those streets.
Every once in a while you see folks doing it the wrong way. Looting, breaking glass, those things are not going to advance the cause.
The president also sharing his advice for Hillary Clinton about those upcoming debates and his message this morning for Donald Trump.
500 million accounts at Yahoo breached, being called the biggest data hack in history. Everything from bank accounts to medical information at risk. Were foreign spies behind it? And why did the tech giant wait years to tell its customers?
Brad Pitt bombshell. The actor accused of child abuse, allegedly getting verbally and physically abusive with one of his kids on a flight. Child Services now investigating, and the case referred to the FBI. How the superstar is responding this morning.
And watch this moment. A thief snatches a woman's purse. She goes after him, jumps on top of his car. The terrifying moment caught on tape. She says she's lucky to be alive.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
She was not having it.
Don't mess with our purse.
Good morning, America. Lots of news to get to this Friday morning, coming off more protests in Charlotte overnight. There you see them right there. They were mostly peaceful, but the pressure is building on officials to release the police video of that deadly shooting.
And Robin, yesterday you had a chance to go sit down with the President and First Lady.
That's right. I traveled to D.C. to meet with them. We sat down for the opening of the Smithsonian's new museum celebrating African-American history and culture. Our interview, of course, came at this crucial moment in the country, and we spoke about the recent tension and violence and the inspiring stories featured in that museum.
That is all coming right up. First, let's get the latest from Charlotte. The mayor ordered that overnight curfew, but police allowed protesters to break it as long as they stayed calm. And ABC's Eva Pilgrim is on the scene. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. You can see businesses here taking no chances, like this hotel boarding up their windows, concerned about the damage. Overnight, though, these protests mostly peaceful, as more than 400 National Guardsmen were called into action. Overnight, a late-night emergency decree. The mayor of Charlotte implementing a curfew, hoping to keep large crowds off the streets after midnight.
Shots fired, shots fired.
This after Justin Carr, a protester, was killed in the unrest Wednesday. This morning, police investigating his shooting, but well after midnight, hundreds remained on the streets protesting peacefully. Earlier in the night, 2 police officers treated by paramedics after being sprayed with chemicals by protesters. But many interactions with law enforcement were cordial. Take a look at this member of the National Guard shaking hands with a protester. Now, the family of 43-year-old Keith Lamont Scott, the man whose shooting death by police ignited the unrest in Charlotte, finally seeing law enforcement video of the incident for the first time Thursday. The family's lawyers saying they now have more questions, saying in a statement, when he was shot and killed, Mr. Scott's hands were by his side and he was slowly walking backwards.
Those officers saw that gun in his hand.
Yes.
Charlotte's police chief telling ABC News this was the gun Keith Lamont Scott had when he was shot. Police say they will not release their video of the shooting to the public until their investigation is over. Meanwhile, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Officer Betty Shelby accused of manslaughter after shooting and killing an unarmed black man. This is her just-released mugshot. Officer Shelby says she feared Terrence Crutcher was armed and high on PCP. Shelby fired 1 shot when she says he reached inside his car. Attorneys for Crutcher's family say that would have been impossible.
The window was up, so how could he be reaching into the car if the window is up and there's blood on the glass?
Prosecutors say Shelby acted unreasonably and escalated the situation. She turned herself in overnight and is out on bail. Robin.
Eva, thank you. Now to our exclusive interview with President Obama, opening up about the recent violence and tension. We met at the Smithsonian's new National Museum of African American History and Culture, which opens tomorrow in Washington. What we're seeing here is civil disobedience. Right. What we have seen recently in Charlotte, North Carolina, young people rising up and showing their frustration in a different way. When you and the rest of the world sees that, what goes through your mind?
Well, I think it's important to separate out the pervasive sense of frustration among a lot of African Americans about shootings of people and the sense that justice is not always colorblind. What we've seen over the last several years is the overwhelming majority of people who've been concerned about police-community relations doing it the right way. Every once in a while you see folks doing it the wrong way. Looting, breaking glass, those things are not going to advance the cause. In Charlotte, my hope is that in the days to come, that people in the community pull together and say, how do we do this the right way?
It seems some would say the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
In particular, Tulsa. He had his hands up,
Right.
Mr. President. And I think that's part of the frustration.
Well, look, I've made it a policy not to comment on the specifics of these issues because in the case of Tulsa, for example, the mayor has invited the Justice Department in to conduct an independent investigation. I've said this repeatedly. Police have a really tough job. Typically, they're interacting with somebody who, for whatever reason, is not looking forward to interacting with the police. On the other hand, if you have repeated instances in which the perception is at least that this might not have been handled the same way were it not for the element of race, even if it's unconscious. I think it's important for all of us to say we want to get this right. This should be a source of concern for all Americans.
It would be helpful for people to come in here, everybody to come in
Sure.
here and have a real sense of this culture. You even alluded to that you would like to see Donald Trump. You said it would benefit him to come here. Why did you feel that way?
Well, this was in response to an assertion that he then repeated after my remarks that this is the worst time ever to be black.
African American communities are absolutely in the worst shape that they've ever been in before, ever, ever, ever.
I think even most 8-year-olds will tell you that whole slavery thing wasn't very good for black people. Jim Crow wasn't very good for black people. What we have to do is use our history to propel us to make even more progress in the future.
And a final question. It's Monday night, it's game time. Secretary Clinton's about to take the stage. What would you want to say to her before walking out for that first debate?
Be yourself and explain what motivates you. I've gotten to know Hillary and seen her work, seen her in tough times and in good times. She's in this for the right reasons.
Anyone want to explain what he felt those right reasons are? That museum is incredibly impressive. Again, it opens tomorrow. There are many levels to it, and that one struck me. That's the Tuskegee Airmen. My father was a member of the Tuskegee Airmen, first black and fly Air Corps in the military, and it opens tomorrow. There'll be many festivities, and we'll have more of the interview with the Obamas. Mrs. Obama spoke so eloquently about it, was there with her mother and her 2 daughters, so we'll get their thoughts in the
we'll
museum.
see more of the museum as well.
Yes,
okay, that's coming up in our next hour. Right now, the race for the White House. And with 46 days before the final votes, 3 days till that first big debate, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump taking a break from the campaign trail today to prep behind closed doors. ABC's Tom Yamas is in Philadelphia, where Trump held a rally overnight. And Tom, candidates taking quite different approaches to debate prep.
George, that's right, and good morning. Donald Trump planned on campaigning in Ohio today, but he scrapped those plans. He's now in New York, focused on debate prep, and overnight, he was taunting his opponent before the big showdown.
As he prepares for his first presidential debate, Donald Trump sharing his theory on how to get ready.
I'm also working on preparation, which I believe strongly in, but you know, I've seen people prepare so much that they get up there and they get lockjaw. They can't speak. You know, you've seen that too. You have to be yourself.
So this week, Trump has been focused on campaigning, maybe too much. Some in his campaign worry he's not practicing hard enough.
I have been all over the country. You probably noticed, right? Where is Hillary today?
Trump dropping hints he believes Hillary Clinton may not be 100% healthy for the debate.
Well, they say she's been practicing for the debate. Some people think she's sleeping.
But Trump doesn't want the debate to be about personal attacks.
I'm going to be very respectful of her, and if she's respectful of me, that'll be nice.
The Republican nominee, who has been criticized for embellishing the truth and making claims that are completely false, says he doesn't want debate moderators who are fact checkers.
I think you have to have somebody that just lets them argue it out.
Hillary Clinton, who has been deep in debate prep, showing a less serious side with actor Zach Galifianakis.
I'd love to meet the person who makes your pantsuits. Oh, really?
Yeah, because for Halloween, I wanted to go as a librarian from outer space.
I think that would be a good look on you.
Clinton, a guest on the popular web series Between Two Ferns.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, Mrs. Clinton. We should stay in touch. What's the best way to reach you? Email?
Now, back on the debate front, the Hillary Clinton campaign may be playing some psychological warfare on Donald Trump. Overnight, Mark Cuban tweeted that Hillary Clinton had invited him to the debate. Cuban is one of the most high-profile critics of Donald Trump, consistently trolling him on Twitter, saying that Trump is not worth $10 billion. If Trump sees him, that could get inside his head because Trump hates his critics. Cuban says he has a front-row seat. George?
A little psychological warfare. Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Let's bring in John Carl now. He's down in Washington with our latest Electoral College analysis, John, and it still shows Hillary Clinton on top.
It does. Now, George, we have our race ratings. We have looked at all 50 states, looking at which states are advantage Hillary Clinton, which are advantage Donald Trump. If you look at our map, the red states are those leaning Trump, blue leaning Hillary Clinton. If Hillary Clinton holds all the states where she now has an advantage, she wins the presidency, 273 electoral votes, even if she loses every single one of those toss-up states. That said, George, there's been a lot of interesting polls coming in states that lean Democrat, that show some momentum for Donald Trump, including Wisconsin, which now in the most recent poll is within the margin of error. That's a state that hasn't voted Republican since 1984.
Yeah, a lot of states tightening up right now. Meanwhile, let's go back to debate prep. We saw Tommy Amos talk about how the candidates are prepping. They also have some public presentations as well. And you see a little bit of a difference here. You got Donald Trump working the refs, talking about the pressure the moderators, including Lester Holt on Monday, are going to be under. And the Clinton team more working the jury, all the reporters who are going to be covering this race on social media, the debate.
That's exactly what is going on. Trump is saying he's going to be treated unfairly. He talks about this over and over again. For Hillary Clinton, her campaign knows that the debate, as large as that audience is for the debate, the audience afterwards will be even more important. They are encouraging their supporters to get out there and dominate social media, to create the impression that she has won, to try to shape the coverage and what is seen of the debate in the news coverage that follows.
So it's likely to be the most watched debate in history, certain to be the most tweeted.
Oh, by far. No question about that.
Let's thank John for that. Also, I'll be anchoring our coverage of Monday's big debate with our whole team. That's live at 9 Eastern right here on ABC.
And that's likely to be the most watched coverage after a debate.
Let's hope.
Watching you, George. All right, everybody. Now to that massive data hack at Yahoo, considered one of the largest ever. The internet giant said that at least 500 million accounts were hacked. ABC's Pierre Thomas joins us from Washington. And Pierre, the big question is, what exactly was stolen?
Good morning, Michael. A stunning 500 million customers in the U.S. and worldwide hit. And Yahoo says hackers got the names, dates of birth, telephone numbers, email addresses, and passwords, all the things allowing hackers to assume your identity online. Yahoo won't say which government stole this information, but security officials say such a theft gives hackers a roadmap of who to target, including a way to zero in on the accounts of government officials. We've seen the private email accounts of top government officials hacked repeatedly. Now more evidence that our adversaries, nations, are aggressively going after the online accounts we all use. Yahoo is just the latest example. Michael?
And also, Pierre, to add to that, we're learning that a White House contractor may have been hacked, leading to the leak of the First Lady's passport.
Outrageous. The FBI is investigating how someone hacked the Gmail account of a contractor who did advanced work for the First Lady's travel, exposing her passport information. Disturbing, Michael. If that can happen to the First Lady, it can happen to anybody.
Absolutely. Very, very scary.
Sure. What about that? All right, Pierre. Now to new developments in those bomb attacks in New York and New Jersey. The suspect, Ahmad Rahami, is in the hospital, reportedly unconscious this morning, but his wife is now back in the U.S. and talking to investigators. ABC Lindsay Janis is in Newark, New Jersey, with all those details for us. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. In the hospital just behind me, Rahami is lying unconscious and in critical condition, recovering from what we now know are 7 bullet wounds. Doctors say it is still possible he may not survive.
These newly released surveillance tapes show from 4 angles the moment that bomb blast rocked Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood. And now new details from the alleged bomber's father. late Thursday denying to ABC News that a burned patch of grass authorities have been investigating in his backyard was from his son, Ahmad Rahami, testing bombs.
Yes. Was that him testing a bomb-making device? Do you know?
No. This, as we're learning, Rahami's wife this week returned to the U.S. from Dubai, where she agreed to be questioned by the FBI. A senior law enforcement official telling ABC News she has been cooperative, quote, to a certain degree, saying she could be of immense value in figuring out how deep his terror ties go. ABC News also learning Rahami purchased the gun he used in this shootout with police from this Virginia gun shop he visited with several other people in July. And this morning, we're hearing for the first time from one of those officers injured in that gun battle. Officer Angel Padilla welcomed by a group of students at a school just 2 blocks from where that shootout took place.
It feels good to, that the kids recognize who I was and was greatly appreciated.
Investigators are also focusing on a 3-hour window Saturday night from when Rahami was picked up on surveillance cameras in Chelsea and when his car was seen leaving Manhattan. George? Many more questions to be answered. Okay, Lindsay, thanks very much. Now to that new trouble for Anthony Weiner, the former congressman brought down by a sexting scandal. New York law enforcement officials now investigating allegations that he traded sexually explicit messages with a 15-year-old girl. ABC's David Wright here with the latest. Good morning, David.
Good morning, George. No formal charges have been brought, but federal authorities have now subpoenaed Anthony Weiner's cell phone records because of his sexting relationship with a high school sophomore.
The New York Daily News headline says it all. 15 could get him 20. Allegations that the disgraced former congressman knowingly exchanged explicit messages with a 15-year-old, now drawing widespread condemnation from New York State's governor.
It's possibly criminal, and it is sick.
To New York City's mayor.
Anthony obviously has a real problem that needs treatment.
Weiner's wife, Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, recently filed for divorce after another sexting scandal came to light. According to the Daily Mail, which broke the latest story, Weiner was well aware the 15-year-old was underage. The 52-year-old former congressman, chatting by the name T-Dog, allegedly sent her graphic messages anyway, including bare-chested selfies and sexual come-ons. The teenager spoke with the Daily Mail, who disguised her identity.
He asked me what I was wearing, then he asked me to take my clothes off.
The NYPD Special Victims Unit and the U.S. Attorney's Office are now investigating. Weiner has not denied the relationship, but he did apologize, saying, "I have repeatedly demonstrated terrible judgment about the people I've communicated with online and the things I have sent. I am filled with regret and heartbroken for those I have hurt." Weiner also passed along an email that he says is from the 15-year-old, in which she appears to admit to her advisor that she made up a false accusation against him.
Now, the girl and her father both told the Daily Mail this was a consensual relationship and they will not be bringing charges, but it is serious stuff because we're not talking about two consenting adults here.
So if the investigation develops the information, doesn't matter whether she faces charges.
We'll see.
David Wright, thanks very much.
Keep our eye on that. All right, Ginger, what do you have?
We've got tornado in Utah, so just north of Salt Lake City. They get an average of 3 per year in the state of Utah, but that's the damage it did. This is what it looked like up close as it was going through Ogden, Utah. You can see the debris there flying in the air. We're fortunate that we didn't see a lot more damage. And then we've got flash flooding happening still this morning. Amazing pictures coming out of parts of Iowa, states of emergency in parts of Minnesota and Iowa as well. The Weekend Getaway is now brought to you by PetSmart.
It's game day, and that means 3 things: family, football, and food. Score big at PetSmart with Purina Pro Plan Savor Shredded Blend for your pets. These high-quality protein formulas blend outstanding nutrition with exceptional taste to help keep your best friends on top of their game. Now at PetSmart, spend $10 on any Purina Pro Plan product and save $10 from Purina on your next Pro Plan purchase.
That's right. Today gets the A-OK and probably the last really warm day for us. It's going to feel a little like late July, early September, getting up close to 90 degrees today with just a few clouds, and I like that it's low humidity. So sunshine today. There'll be an increase in clouds tomorrow, still though 78, getting closer to average across our area. And you can see from Sunday through all of next week, we're into the 70s. Can't rule out a passing shower south and west on Sunday. Better chance of rain Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
Coming up, that bombshell allegation against Brad Pitt, accused of child abuse, now under investigation. The incident on a plane